Foreign ministers met at NATO and then at the EU to discuss what more they can do to help Ukraine as their fears grow that the Russian campaign will intensify.
We are now witnessing a full-fledged war in our borders, a war unleashed by President Putin against Ukraine, and a completely unjustified war that's creating a lot of civilian casualties, with the use of arms strictly prohibited by the Geneva Convention.
NATO and EU countries have already agreed to supply weapons to Ukraine and to put in place some of the toughest sanctions in history. But the Ukrainian foreign minister, who addressed them by video, wants much more direct support, including the imposition of a no-fly zone.
We are ready to fight. We will continue fighting. But help us. If you don't, I'm afraid you will have to share responsibility for the lives and sufferings of civilian Ukrainians.
This was the response from NATO's Secretary General.
Our assessment is that we understand the desperation, but we also believe that if we did that, we'll end up with something that could end in a full-fledged war in Europe, involving many more countries and causing much more human suffering.
At a news conference with the President of the European Commission, the US Secretary of State warned that the conflict in Ukraine may well be a protracted one.
Unfortunately, tragically, horrifically, this may not be over soon. And so these efforts that we're making together, we have to sustain them. We have to build upon them.
Here at NATO headquarters, there is a section from the Berlin Wall. The history of the alliance can be divided into the period of the Cold War and then the period after this wall fell. The Secretary General believes the alliance has now passed a new milestone, what he's calling a new normal. And for the first time, foreign ministers have been discussing a permanent long-term presence of many more troops in the NATO countries closest to Russia. James Bays, Al Jazeera, at NATO headquarters in Brussels.